I believe we are working here. Yeah, there we go. Had a little bit of technical difficulties there getting things started, folks. So, gonna happen sometimes, you know. Okay, so very good. Hi, it's your Uncle Phil, Furious Rally Sports. How you doing? Doing okay tonight? I hope so. Replaying the 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game tonight, statistical replay of the game. And that will be using a game that is a dice baseball version called Deadball by W.M. Akers. And this version is actually, it works very, very well. Been very happy with it, so I think you'll like it. Let me get back in here so I know where I'm at. There, can you see me? So, W.M. Akers, there's a link in the description regarding this game called Deadball. It is played with role-playing game dice, RPG dice. Unfortunately, I don't have those. I had some, but I don't know where I put them. So we're going to use dice rolls from online, so a virtual dice roll tonight for the game. It involves using stats from the players for a full season, involves using their batting averages, on base percentage, and then for the pitchers, it involves using their earned run averages, and there are some other things that play in as the game goes on, like if the hitter is a power hitter, or if they're a contact hitter, or if they are a strikeout machine as a pitcher. Okay? So that's what we have going on. Here's some of the Deadball books from W.M. Akers. I don't know how many he's got, 4 or 5 now. He had a first edition, and now he has a second edition. Okay? So there's one of them here. Deadball, 1909. Let's see. The second year 2 is this one. Okay. And then year 3 is this one right here. And he's had some other ones. It's an interesting game to play, that's for sure. It actually involves, you can use modern teams, or you can use made-up teams, or you can use old-time baseball teams as well, which makes it quite interesting. So, hey, look, give W.M. Akers, give his game Deadball a chance. Why don't you? Give it a shot. The link is in the description of this video. It's only about $5 right now for the second edition for the PDF download. You got $5 to burn, don't you? I'd kind of think so. Now let's talk about a little bit about this All-Star game that was played July 16th of 2024. Was it any spectacular game? No, I just kind of thought it would be interesting to replay in a dice fashion or statistical fashion at some point. Let's see, and I'm going to get those stats up real quick. Give me a moment. The box score I have in front of me right now. The final score was 5-3. The AL beat the NL. Mostly a pitcher's duel, but what happened in it in the top of the third, Shohei Ohtani hit a 3-run homer to give the NL a 3-0 lead. AL comes right back in the bottom of the third with a little bit of small ball, and they got 3 runs to tie the game. And then the big homer, Jaron Duran from Boston, pinch hits for Aaron Judge and hits the 2-run homer that gave the AL, that's in the bottom of the 5th now, gave the AL the 5-3 lead, and it stood up the 5-3 final. Again, the game played July 16th of last year at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. So it was quite a ball game. Let me show you real quick what I'm going to do with the scorebook tonight. I'm not going to be able to show you the rolls or any of that as I do the dice rolls. Just have to trust me, and that's what I'm doing behind the scenes. But I will keep the scorebook, and you can see this here if you take a look at that. And I wrote these things ahead of time for the whole scorebook because of the fact that I seriously it took me hours to try to scour all these stats from the various players. And when you're talking about several substitutions, as you can see, I've got the scorecard filled out already for the substitutions. They happened in the 5th inning. Most of them did. Now, the pitchers were pretty much pitching every pitched won an inning. So you see the National League starting lineup there. I also have the play-by-play for the game as far as what actually happened in it in front of me, so that we can kind of follow along and see what happens versus the virtual version as we play it. Okay, this game is a little bit complex when you're first starting to play it. It's not that bad, but there are so many little intricacies. I may miss a few things here tonight, but it's it's pretty fun. And so there we go. So the 2024 All-Star Game, there's your intro for it as we play W.M. Akers' Deadball, a dice statistical version of baseball. Again, the interesting thing about the game is that you can make fake players, you can take old players, you can take new players, and have a game of baseball. One other thing of note, there are two different websites that you can go to, find the box scores on Baseball Reference, and put them in, and it will create a scorecard for you, ready to play. Problem is, neither one of them are working at the moment, and certainly not with the All-Star games. They are some of them are working for the regular season. But I couldn't get them to work for the All-Star game, so I had to get all the stats on my own. So let's go ahead and go over the starting lineups real quick, if we can. Let me hang on just a second here. Okay, so you see the National League will lead off, and it's Ketel Marte at second base. Shohei Ohtani is your DH. Trey Turner will bat third, your shortstop. Batting fourth from the Phillies, Bryce Harper at first base. It's William Contreras catching, batting fifth from the Brewers. Christian Yelich, also from the Brew Crew, in right field, batting sixth. Alec Bohm from Philly, the third baseman, at batting seventh. And Teoscar Hernandez. Los Angeles Dodgers just keep loading up, don't they? Center fielder, he'll bat eighth. And then Jurickson Profar from San Diego, the left fielder, batting ninth. Now, for a moment here, I will get the lineups for the American League put them up on there so you can see them. Hopefully, we can get them all on there. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, I think so for the most part. Here we go. So for the American League, you have Stephen Kwan from Cleveland batting first, playing left field. Gunnar Henderson at shortstop from the Orioles. He bats second. Juan Soto, who had a pretty productive game in this All-Star game, had the tying RBI at 3 in the bottom of the third of it. He plays right. Aaron Judge will start batting fourth, playing center from the Yankees. Yordan Alvarez, your DH, bats fifth. Jose Ramirez, your third baseman, batting sixth. Vladimir Guerrero, the Toronto Blue Jay, at first base, batting seventh. Adley Rutschman, the catcher, bats eighth. He's from the Orioles. And then Marcus Semien bats ninth. And he plays for the Texas Rangers, the second baseman. And you can see all the pitchers down at the bottom of that list. I put those all down there. You see the dice, and you also see that K+ indicator, which also helps them as they are pitching. The larger number of die that you have as far as the sides on it, the better pitcher you are. So you can well imagine how that's going to work. All right, so taking 15 minutes to get the intro, or 10 minutes, huh? Let me get back here. We'll just kind of line up, make sure that we have our starting lineup sheet squared away. It appears as though we do. And so let's go ahead and start this thing. What do you say? I'm thinking so. So it's Ketel Marte. He will lead off. And so how this works is, just so I explain it to you, let me make sure I've got my screens all up so you can see me. Yeah, you're seeing me all right. you basically roll what's called a D100 dice or die. And in this case, that's a 0 to 100 number. In this case, we're going to use a two-sided or two D10 dice to roll that same number. And then you take the pitcher's dice roll number, which is whatever his number is. In the case of the pitcher Burns, we are rolling a, let me see here, in pitcher Burns, we're rolling a D12. So there we have it. Now, let's go ahead and do the roll for Ketel Marte, all right? So give me just a moment here. So he's rolled a 13. And since Corbin Burns is a D12, that's what we roll for the answer. He has 5. So those are added together, and that gives what's called a MSS, which is something swing score. I don't remember what the whole total is. So that's 18. Now, if that's under his batting average, which it is for Ketel Marte, which he was hitting about 290 last year. So it's a 29 for his batting average. We go ahead and roll a D20 dice, which is going to be scored on the hit table. And let me pull that up real quick. I got to go grab it. Papers everywhere. All right, so we're going to roll that. The D20 will get what kind of hit? Oh, my goodness. Did he do that really? Wow, you're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this. Ketel Marte, a 19 or a 20 on the hit table is an HR. Home run for Ketel Marte to lead off the game. And the National League, how about that one? The National League is on top, 1-0. I'll show you the scorecard at the end of the half inning. Probably easier. I mean, you can see it here if you want. I don't know if that's going to be kind of tough for you to see it. But anyway, there we go. Ketel Marte homers to lead off the 2024 National League at-bat in the 2024 All-Star Game. Wow, that is unbelievable. So now you're Corbin Burns pitching, and you've got Shohei Ohtani to face, and you've just given up a gopher ball. Just giving one up. Ow. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, so let's go ahead and redo everything here. So again, we roll the D10s. We roll 2 of those for Ohtani's swing. So we roll 2 of them. That's a 14. And I got to tell you, that's going to be a hit too, more than likely, and a 10. Now, Ohtani's batting number was a 31. That is a 24. That's below the batting average. That means it's a hit. So now we're rolling a D20 for a hit. Okay, so here we go. We roll the D20. A 2. So what happens in this case, this is a single for Shohei Ohtani. So score that in the scorebook. He hits a single. Now, the thing is, the defense gets a chance to answer when it is a 2 roll on the hit table here in W.M. Akers' Deadball. So now what do? Now we've got to consult the defense, and I have to go find the defense chart here. Hold on. Okay, now they get to roll a D12 die, and so we're going to do that here. And the roll is a 5. That is no change, so it maintains a single for Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani just hit it. Okay, so Marte's led off with a homer. Ohtani's aboard with a single off Corbin Burns. You can't really see that, can you? I mean, I'd show it on the other camera, but by the time here, let me do it. Here, let's see if it'll stand up. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. There you go. There. How's that? Maybe you can see that. Yep. All right. So there you have it. So Ohtani has singled after the home run from Ketel Marte. And now we have Trey Turner hitting from the Philadelphia Phillies hitting third, shortstop. Let's see what he does. By the way, this game is supposed to only take about a half hour to play, and I'm sure it would be if I wouldn't be doing all this video and talking and yapping. So, and I'm sure the quicker you get with the dice, and if you had the dice in front of you, it would probably be about that quick. So it's now Trey Turner, and we will roll the 2d10 dice. He's come up with a 12. Or let me correct myself there. It's a 7-5. So the 7-5 is a, let's see here. That's above his batting average, so that is an out. So now we go ahead and go to the out table, and we will roll, let's see. It's a 5, and that is a grounder to third. So on the grounder to third, Ohtani advances 1 away. So Turner, the infielder, didn't have time to make the play, and so there's 1 down. Here in the top of the first, 1-0 already National League with the home run from Ketel Marte. There you go. Score sheet, and voila. Okay. There we go. And now we go back to here. Okay. Now Bryce Harper, number 4 hitter in the National League here in the top of the first. 1-0. NL. And let's see. Give me just a second here. Switching back and forth. All right, so we're going to roll a couple of dice. Again, the D10s. And the roll is a 35. Then we add the pitcher. The pitcher is a D12. That's Corbin Burns. And he gets 5, so that adds up to a 40. Now, the thing is with Harper, he has a 37. So the 35 and 5 is 40. And if I remember right, this brings in a swing result table that's a little bit weird because there's a this is a possible walk. If it's in between, let me see, hold on a minute. No, that is incorrect. He is actually out. So, yeah, he is actually out. We'll go ahead and, let me see, 35 and 5, 40. That is beyond his, both his on-base total and his batting average. So he is out, and the 5 is the last one, so he has grounded to first as well. 2 down here in the top of the first. Now we've got William Contreras. By the way, Ohtani now to third. NL trying to add to the 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. And let's see, I can do this for you. Now, kind of. And let's see. Do we have it? There you go. So that's what's happened to this point. Okay. It might take a little longer to play this than I thought it would. That's all right. I'll get the hang of it as time goes on. So now William Contreras will bat, the 5th hitter for the National League from the Brewers, hitting off of old teammate Corbin Burns, right? Okay. So we roll his dice, which gives us a 27. So now the 27, and then the Corbin Burns is a 5, which adds up to a 32. Contreras is a 28, but he's a 37 on the on base. So that means that is, if I'm correct with that, that is a walk. Yes. Okay. So William Contreras will walk. First and third now with 2 out. And that is something else, because now, with first and third and 2 out, Corbin Burns has to face yet another opponent of his, and that would be, or former teammate of his, I should say, Christian Yelich, the right fielder for the Brewers. Had a pretty good year last year. So Yelich, ooh, that looks like an out. Let's see. He's rolled a 68. And let's see here. 68 and 12 is 80. So the 80 is an out because it is beyond his. Yes, so let's see here. Yeah, let's see, 68 and 12, 80. So that gives a 0. What do we got here? Struck out. So he strikes out Yelich for the 3rd out in the inning. Okay. So let me put the score sheet up here so you can kind of see it. I'll go over it with you real quick. So basically, 1 run on 1 hit and 2 left. And it's Marte's homer to lead off the first inning. 1-0 National League. Corbin Burns got kind of, well, not the best performance there from him, at least I would say. Huh? So now we go to the American League and the bottom of the first. I'm going to be back here right after the moment here. I'm going to take a swig of water. A little dry. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the first inning in the dead ball replay of the 2024 All-Star Game. I'm just going to I buy the game from Mr. Akers on his website, Deadball website. It's linked on this video. That's an example, the quick reference table. It's a neat game. And I may make some errors in here, and if I do, I do. So be it. So now it's Paul Skeens, the absolute stud, pitching to lead off the National League here against the American League. It's Quan, Henderson, and Soto. So, all right here. Let's go back to... Got to go back to my dice. Boy, it'd be easier if I just had my dice. I wouldn't have to switch back and forth. Oh, well. Next time I'll have those, won't I? All right, so Stephen Kwan from the Cleveland Guardians. Let's see what he can do at the dish here. Okay, he's rolled a 55. Now, the thing is with Skeens, he gets the D20 die, so that means he's got... that helps him. He has a 1. So 55 plus 1 is a 56. That is an out. The out is a ground ball to first, and that is 1 away. And that marker pen of mine's about ready to die. So Quan leads off the American League in the top of the first with the ground out. One away, so now Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles. And he rolls a 45, Skeens throws using the D20 die, 3. So that's a 48. That is an out as well. Forgot about Skeens. You get to add some stats here. Wouldn't have mattered in the last at bat. K plus, and that adds some things here. I got to look that up. Give me a second. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this game, and you can make it as complicated or not as you want to. Gosh, what is that? I'm looking here. Vital tables. Ah, there it is. Yeah, -1 to Bosing batters. Okay. So, well, let's see. It wouldn't have mattered on this at bat anyway, so on the K plus. So let me see. Gunnar Henderson, 45 plus 348. That's, well, that is going to be well above his either hitting or on-base percentage. That is going to be an out. So that out is, the 8 is the indicator of what the out is. And that is a fly out to center. 2 down. Juan Soto now. And we'll go over here at the end of the inning what actually happened in the actual game. Juan Soto, the right fielder for the Yankees. He's rolled a 34. Now Skeens. 20. That's a 54. So Soto's going to be out because even though he had a 42 for his OBP, he's over that. So, again, 34 and 20 is 54. So it's an out. So we go with the 4, and that 4 means a ground out to first. 4-3. So he doesn't get any strikeouts, but Skeens does go 1, 2, 3 with the American League in the first. So, after 1 in this replay of the 2024 American League All-Star Game, it is 1-0 National League. Here, I'll put up the American League stats so you can see them. Give me a moment. There we go. And there you go, and you can see them. So not much going on there. Now, in the actual game, what happened in by the way, it's so small it's hard to read it. Marte led off for the National League. He grounded out to first, was thrown to the pitcher. Ohtani walked, and Trey Turner hit a fly ball to center for the first out, or the second out, rather. Bryce Harper then doubled to left field, which sent Ohtani to third. And then William Contreras grounded out to the pitcher. That's how the first half inning broke out. Now the second half inning in the actual game, the AL, Stephen Kwan, what did he do here? He grounded out to short. And then Gunnar Henderson grounded back to the pitcher, so there were 2 away. Soto walked, and then Aaron Judge grounded out to the second baseman who just made the putout at second of Soto for the third out of the inning. So that's how the first inning went. No score in the original game, 1-0 right now, National League, in our statistical replay. So let's go to the National League now. Top of the second is going to be Bohm, 7-8-9, Bohm, Teoscar Hernandez, and Jurickson Profar for the National League. All right. Second inning now, as I said, top of the second, 1-0 NL. Alec Bohm. Well, it looks like he's out already. He's got a 65, and then we go to, oh, by the way, the new pitcher for the American League is Tarik Skubal. He uses the same dice or die as Burns, a D12, so we won't see any difference there. And that's a 5, so that's a 70. So that is an out. And the out is, momentarily, hold on. Let's see, 70. That's a strikeout. The O is the indicator, the last number. So strikeout for Alec Bohm. They don't say if it's a strikeout or caught looking, so I guess it really doesn't matter. One away. Teoscar Hernandez now. Here in the top of the second, 1-0 NL. One away. Okay, so a 16 for Teoscar Hernandez. And now the pitcher, Skubal, an 8. So it's a 24. Hernandez is a 27. So we now go to the, so that means it's a hit, but now we have to roll a D20 to see what happened with that hit. So rolling that die, it's a 19. What? The National League opening up in a can with the home runs. A 19 on the hit table, on the D20 hit table, is an HR. No, I'm not artificially messing with the stats here for you AL peoples. That is a home run from Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodger has given the National League a 2-run lead with 1 out. Solo homer with 1 out in the top of the second. Jurickson Profar now, the San Diego Padre, playing left field to start the All-Star game. He rolls a 36, so he's going to be out. The question end up being what kind of an out. It's actually adding the pitching of a 6 is 42. So the 2 is an indicator. The 2 is a strikeout. So 2 Ks for Tarik Skubal here in the second, but I bet he wishes he's had that pitch back from Hernandez. Took him yard. So now we go to Ketel Marte. Marte homered in the first. All right. So a 31, that's what Marte has rolled. The pitcher's roll is a 3, so that's a 34. That is actually in between the it's above his batting average but below his on-base percentage, so Ketel Marte has walked. And I may be playing that too simple with the rules, but I believe from what I gathered, if any time it's in between a batter's average and their on-base percentage, that is considered a walk. 2 outs, and Tarik Skubal's got to face Shohei Ohtani. Have fun with that. All right, what does Shohei do in his second at bat? Singled his first time. Well, he's going to be out here. It's a 95 that he's rolled, so he's out. 95 and 7 is 102, so we basically use the 2 as our indicator. The 2 is a strikeout, so that is out number 3 in the inning. So in the inning, 1 run on 1 hit, 1 left. So, but Skubal gives up the solo home run to Teoscar Hernandez, and at the end of 1.5, it's 2-0 National League. And let's go ahead and show you that real quick, if I can. You can see that, can't you? I don't know if you can or not, but there it is. That's how it's playing out so far. Okay, give me a little moment. I'm going to take a swig of water again. Be right back. Let's see what the AL can do here in the bottom of the second. 2-0 National League in the replay of the 2024 All-Star Game. Aaron Judge, your hitter, 4, 5, and 6. It's Judge, Alvarez, and Jose Ramirez. Okay, let's see here. All right, we got to go back. Let me get this squared away here first. Now we're going to go back to our dice roll. Okay, Alvarez now, or rather Judge, your hitter, here in the bottom of the second. He's rolled 81, so we know that's an out. Your pitcher now for the National League is Max Fried. Okay, now he's using a D8, which means it's a lower dice, which means not quite as good on the ERA. Don't matter in this case, 84. So the out is, it's above, obviously, Judge's batting average and his on-base percentage. So that makes it a, what did I say, 84? Yeah. That's a grounder to second, 4-3, one away. Anytime you are Max Fried and you get Aaron Judge out, you go, whew, right? All right, so one out in the bottom of the second. Now Yordan Alvarez. Okay, here. Let me get all situated. Well, he's going to be out. He's rolled an 87 and 5, which is a 92. The 2 is the indicator, and on the out table, that is a strikeout. So far, pretty good inning for Max Fried. Now Jose Ramirez, your third baseman. And I'm kind of looking this up here a little bit just to familiarize myself again with the players. Ramirez, Paredes will eventually relieve him. Most of the substitutes came in the fifth as far as the position players are concerned. Now, Jose Ramirez, the third, second baseman, and shortstop for the Cleveland Guardians. So, okay. Ramirez, that's an 85. That's not so good. He's going to be out. And Max Fried will, 5 and 4 is 89. So the 9 is a fly out to the right fielder. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. National League has the American League tied in knots at the moment after 2. After 2, the National League leads the American League 2-0. Let's go ahead and give you a shot here of the scorecard of the American League. At least I think I can. Hold on. Maybe. There you go. That should be good enough, I think. Let's make the switch here. So let's talk about what happened in the actual game. The second inning was a 1-2-3 inning for the National League. Yelich grounded out to short. Alec Boehm flew out to center, and then Hernandez hit a fly ball out to right. So 1-2-3 in the top of the second in the original All-Star game, the actual one. In the bottom of the second, American League, not much better. Yordan Alvarez walked. Jose Ramirez hit a fly ball to center, which was one away. Then Vladimir Guerrero grounded to short, and Adley Rutschman grounded out to short as well. And there was no score at the end of 2. So now we'll go to the third. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. Hang in there. All right, so we go to the top of the third. The dice baseball version of the game called Deadball from W.M. Akers. What we're playing this statistical replay of the 2024 All-Star Game. We're through 2. And no score. I think the game's going to go quicker as I figure more of this out. So, okay, let's go back to our dice roll. And it's again, it uses the RPG dice, just so you know. But you can use dice roll utilities online, which is what I'm doing here. So it's 3, 4, and 5 here in the top of the third. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and William Contreras. So, Trey Turner, 57 is what he's rolled. Your pitcher now in for the American League is Tanner Houck, Mizzou, Boston Red Sox. And let's see what he does. He will use a D8 die. So I think I screwed up. No, that's right. I had that correct. Tanner Houck is D8. Thought I screwed up somebody else, but I did not. So 57 and a 4 is a 61, so it's an out for Trey Turner, and that out is 57, 4, 61. That's a strikeout. Trey Turner strikes out. He grounded to first in the first inning. Here's Bryce Harper. He grounded to first as well. Number 4 hitter here in the top of the third. NL leading 2-0. 62, so we know he's out. Add 1 for the pitcher, that's 63. And that means he has grounded to third. So it's a 3, or grounded to first, rather. 3 unassisted. That's 2 down. And now William Contreras from the Brewers, the 5th hitter. Again, we didn't see substitutes until the 5th inning, and that's exactly how I'll play it here. Pitchers were pretty much substitute every inning or every third of an inning. So there you go. Let me check something here. Yeah, we're good. All right, so now it's, as I said, William Contreras from the Brewers. This is his second at bat. He walked the first time in the first. We're in the top of the third, 2-0 NL over the AL. 48. Well, that's going to be an out. And we had 351. That is a strikeout. Well, pretty good inning for Tanner Houck. No runs, no hits, nobody left. So we go to the bottom of the third. Right now, 2-0 National League. Who's going to be pitching for the NL here? Logan Webb. Logan Webb will use a D8. And let me show you the, hang on a minute. I will do this. See what the National League did here in our statistical replay with Deadball. There you go. And there you have it. All right. Let's go to the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third here is 7, 8, 9. It's Vladimir Guerrero from Toronto, Adley Rutschman, the catcher from Baltimore, and then Marcus Semien, the hometown favorite second baseman from Texas, as they're playing this game at Globe Life Field. 2-0 NL to the bottom of the third we go. So let's see what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. can do at the plate. Well, he has rolled a 69, and the pitcher, as I mentioned, is Logan Webb, rather. Reed, 4 letters, I guess. He's a D8, so we'll roll a D8 die. It doesn't really matter much. It's an out. It adds 69, 70. So the out is a strikeout. On the out table is a 0. It's the last number. So strikeout for Vladimir Guerrero. The NL is mowing them down here in the All-Star game. Mowing down the AL. Adley Rutschman now. Well, he may get a hit. He's got an 18. And a 7 is a 25. Right on his hit number, his average of 250 something last year. And so the 25 is his batting average, BT. I don't even know what that. You use again, with Deadball, you use the batting average, you use the on-base percentage, you use the pitching ERA, and you also use the power numbers. So it's very simplified. So Rutschman has gotten a hit, so now we go to the D20 die to determine what happened there. That gives us a single. So he's gotten a single, but the defense gets to answer. So now we roll a D12. And the D12 gives us a 5. And that shows no change. 3 to 9 is no change, so it's a single for Adley Rutschman. The first hit for the NL comes, or for the AL comes in the bottom of the third. They're trailing the NL 2-0. Marcus Semien now, the number 9 hitter, second baseman for the Texas Rangers. Well, he is going to be out. He's rolled a 98. And to finish that, add 4 is a 102. So the 2 is an out. The 2 is a strikeout. So the runners do not move. Runner 2 down. Again, the substitutes appear here in the they start to appear in the 5th inning in this All-Star game. This is Logan Webb on the mound for the National League, and he's done pretty well so far. He's the first guy that's given up a hit, though, to the American League. Now we see the leadoff hitter, Stephen Kwan from the Cleveland Guardians. And let's see. Wow, that is a 100. So that doesn't mean anything. That's an out. And Webb is an 8. D8 for the die, so we roll that just to see what the out is. It's a 5. Grounded out to first. So Kwan 0 for 2. He grounded out to short in the first and in the third. So, after 3, it's the National League leading the American League 2-0. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that Ketel Marte would have hit the home run to give the early lead to the NL, huh? I don't think too many people would. There you go. Let's talk about this third inning originally, what happened in it. In the third, this was the big inning, if you can remember this. This was the big inning for both teams. Both teams got 3 runs in it. So It was pretty interesting. Shohei Ohtani was the big man for the NL in the top of the third. So Jurickson Profar hit a single out to right. Then Ketel Marte singled. And this was off of Tanner Houck. Then Shohei Ohtani. Goodbye, Mr. Bond. 3-run homer. And it was suddenly 3-0 National League. And after that, Trey Turner singled. Ground ball double play then from Bryce Harper. And then Wilson Contreras struck out in the top of the third. But the damage was done in the original game in that top of the third. Shohei Ohtani's 3-run homer, 3-0. Bottom of the third, though, AL got right back in it, playing a little bit of small ball. Marcus Semien with the single to right field. Then, let's see, Stephen Kwan walked, so he got first and second. A ground out by Gunnar Henderson to first base. The runners moved up, of course. And then Juan Soto doubled to center. That scored Semien and Kwan, so 3-2 there. A ground out by Aaron Judge, grounded to third, and then over to first. And then the single from David Fry, who, did he pinch hit there? Fry must have pinch hit there in the, let me take a look at the scorecard here, in the third, and was able to get the hit. Now let's see where Fry actually pinch hit. We haven't gotten to his at bat yet, so he will pinch hit here at some point. I'll probably pinch hit him in that next, if you see here, if I can point to it, down here. Yeah, up in there. I'll probably pinch hit for him in the next at bat. So, to kind of keep it fairly close to what the original was. But he had the RBI that ended up tying the game at 3. Right after that, Jose Ramirez struck out swinging in the third. Okay, a second for a swig of water, if you would. And I'll be right back. Three innings played, 2-0 National League in our Deadball from W.M. Akers replay, statistical of the 2024 All-Star Game. Again, there's a link in the description of this video where you can purchase that. $5 to download it right now, or last I checked. It's only $15 regularly. It's worth it. It's something, when the weather's not the best, or even when it is the best, and you got some time to do something, you can play this. Now, it's taken, about 45 minutes to play 3 innings, but when you're playing it by yourself, you can play it a lot quicker, and you can play it with 2 people. So, it's a neat game. You should give it a shot, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get the score sheet here. Go to the top of the fourth. Pitching now for the American League is Garrett Crochet. I'm going to verify that that's correct. They did some kind of strange pitching later on in the game. Yeah, Crochet pitched the fourth. So Crochet pitches now against the National League. And it is 6, 7, 8. It's Yelich, Bohm, and Hernandez here in the top of the fourth. Okay. Well, let's see what Christian Yelich, the leadoff hitter here in the top of the fourth, can do with the National League leading 2-0. Well, a 14. And let's see then. A 14 for Yelich, and then the pitcher, as I mentioned, is Crochet. He's using a D8, so let's see what happens here. That is a 4. And 14 and 4 is 18. That's going to be a hit for Yelich. Now we go to the D20. And Yelich has no special things that we need to look at for his hits. That's a 2. So let's take a look here momentarily. Pull up some more sheets. His hit, a 2, is just a single. The defense does not get a chance to answer. So Yelich leads off the top of the 4th with a single. And the National League leading the AL 2-0. Now hitting Alec Bohm here in the 4th. Again, the substitute starts showing up in the 5th. And, well, a 25 is what he's rolled. The pitcher roll is a 2, which makes it a 27. Bohm is a 28, so this makes it a hit. Now we go to the D20. That is a 6. The 6 means it is a single. So with Yelich, let's see what the defense has first. The defense can answer this. The defense with the D12 roll is an 8. And that is no change, so it stands as a single. Now, with this being the All-Star Game, I'm not going to send runners or anything like that because last thing you want to do is get somebody hurt. See Ray Fosse was at the 72 All-Star Game. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that. But the thing is now, National League is cooking here at the moment off of Garrett Crochet from the White Sox. First and second, nobody out. Teoscar Hernandez, who homered in the second. 2 solo homers to Ketel Martes and Teoscar Hernandez. All right. So let's see what Hernandez does here. Well, he's out. 6-3. 63 is what he's rolled. And we add the 6, which is a 69. The 9 indicates an out of F9. So it's a fly out, 1 away to right field for Hernandez from the Dodgers. Now Jurickson Profar. He is the number 9 hitter, the left fielder from the San Diego Padres. First and second, 1 out, top of the 4th. National League leads it 2-0. Hernandez, or rather Jurickson Profar with an 18. That's looking pretty good. Crochet's rolled a 2. That's a 20. That is a hit. Now the question ends up being what kind of a hit? A 15. Ooh, I think that's moving some runners. A 15 is a double, but the defense can answer this. The defensive answer on the D12 here is a 5. That is no change. This is a double for Jurickson Profar. So we will play it straight up. Yelich scores. That makes it 3-0 National League. That moves Bohm up to second, or rather third on the double. And, of course, Profar is aboard with the double. Pretty impressive now. Pretty good inning, and it's now 3-0 National League in the top of the 4th. Now it's Ketel Marte. All right. Homered in the first and walked. Well, he has rolled a 16, and the pitcher has rolled Crochet an 8. That's a 24. That is a hit because it's below his batting average of 290 something. So let's see what kind of hit he have. The D20 roll. A 9. That is a single. Wow. Another run scores. So that means Bohm has scored from third. Profar moves up to third. And Marte is aboard with a single. It's 2 for 3 now. Now 4-0 National League. I know American League fans go, baloney. Are you going to pull him? I don't know. I mean, he's been just kind of getting nickeled and dimed, hasn't he? So, but then again, guess who's up? Shohei Ohtani. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the pitching change. So the pitching change I'm going to make is I'm going to go ahead and put this is probably a good call. I'm going to put Mason Miller in to face Shohei Ohtani. That's probably a good idea. So he only lasted a third of an inning in the fourth, did Garrett Crochet. So I'm going to say, Mason Miller, go get Shohei Ohtani. What do you say? He is a D12, so that should help him a little bit. Okay, so here's Shohei. Well, it's a 96, so he is out. And what out is he? Let's see, 96 and 9, 105. On the out table, that is a ground out to first base. So that's 2 down, but let's see where the runners end up going. That's going to score another one. We'll just say it does. It just moves the runners up. And it is now 5-0 National League with 2 out. And now Mason Miller will face Trey Turner with 2 outs. Turner has a 61. That means he's out. But what kind of an out? 71. That is a strikeout. So, pretty productive inning for the National League. 3 runs on 4 hits and 1 left. At the end of 3.5, now 5-0 National League. I'll show it to you here in just a momento. Give me a memento, would you? There we go. I think. There we go. Et voila. Let me take a break here a second. We'll go back. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. American League down 5-0 to the National League in the 2024 All-Star Game, the replay with dice baseball game called Deadball. All right, so it's Henderson, Soto, and Aaron Judge here in the bottom of the fourth, and they will face Shota Imanaga. Thank you. I knew that beforehand. I just stumbled on it looking at it. Shota Imanaga. All right. He's a D12, so that should help him just a little bit on the dice. Let's go ahead and do some die rolls, shall we? Aaron Judge leading it off, as I said, or rather Henderson, I should say, the second batter in the lineup, the shortstop from Baltimore. And he's got a chance here. He's got a 14 to get a hit. And let's see here. An Imanaga, a 3, that's a 17. That is definitely a hit. Now we roll the D20 to see what the hit is. 4. It's a single with the defense can answer, and that's a D12 roll. And the defense answers with an error. So we're going to say he is aboard with an error. I don't know. You call it... I'm not sure what that... it just says error, so let's go ahead and give him an extra base. So we'll call it a single. And we'll just call it, I don't know, E9 on the throw. So he's there. At second, Henderson is. So single, and he's aboard with a bad throw. Coming into second is he stretched 1. So now it's Juan Soto. Runner at first. Bottom of the 4th, nobody out. 5-0 National League. Well, Soto is out. He's got a 70, so the next roll is a 9. That's the pitcher's roll, the D12 for Imanaga, and that's, as I said, a 9. The out table suggests a fly out to the right fielder, 1 down. Well, Aaron Judge, and this guy's stats will play in a little bit. Power plus plus. And what that means is, with him, add 2 when rolling on the hit table. So, okay, so that adds 2 points if he gets a hit. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, Aaron Judge, what can you do against Imanaga? 29, but what can Imanaga answer with? 10, so 39. Judge is actually going to be aboard because it's in between his batting average and his on-base percentage. He will be aboard with a walk. Probably a wise thing to do, isn't it, with Judge? So 1-out walk to Aaron Judge. Now we'll go ahead and bat David Fry here in the 4th. Remember, he had the RBI that tied it in the original game, okay? It tied it at 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Okay. Well, he's going to be out, though. 5-2, and then 52, rather. And then an 8 is 60, and that makes him a 0. For an out, that is a strikeout. That is 2 away for David Fry. So he doesn't do anything here in the 4th. Judge is at first. Henderson at second now with 2 outs for Jose Ramirez, the 3rd baseman. And he also plays second and short for the Guardians. Okay, just a moment. Well, he's going to be out. He's got a 67. Now we just determine the out, which is a 9, 71. No, I'm sorry. 67 and 9 is 76, isn't it? The 6 is a ground ball to short. That will end the inning. The American League, through 4, only have 2 hits. And the National League leads at 5-0. 5-0. Wow, that's almost hard to believe, isn't it? Here, let me show that to you real quick so you can see it. There you go. And we'll be back in just a moment. So we'll talk about the fourth inning, how it played out in the actual game. We know that in the actual game it was tied at 3 at the end of 3. Fourth was kind of an uneventful one, if I remember right. Top of the fourth in the NL. Yelich grounded out to first. Alec Bohm singled to right field. Teoscar Hernandez struck out swinging, and then Jurickson Profar grounded out. And so it was a unproductive National League inning there in the top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, though. Oh, wait a minute. I've got that wrong. What did I do there? Oh, yeah, here's the bottom of the fourth for the American League. Imanaga pitching. And, wow, something got cut off there on my list. Nonetheless, it was pretty much 1, 2, 3 as Rutschman and Semien. So who batted before that? Well, anyway, it was 1, 2, 3 inning in the top of the fourth. I don't know what happened. My stats got cut off there for the actual game. So at the end of 4-5-0 National League in our replay, and it has just kind of been a surprise, hasn't it? At least to me it has been. And now the substitutes start to appear. And let me take a look real quick at when the substitutes started to bat here. Because I've got Elio Ramos in the lineup here as the player that replaced Harper. But I don't remember if it was in the fifth or after. Let's take a look here. I'm still looking. No, he was not replaced. Bryce Harper was not there. So it's going to be Harper. And I think Will Smith will bat in the sixth. So Harper and Smith will be substituted in the sixth. So we're going to bat Harper, Contreras. Let's see, did Yelich in the top of the sixth was replaced by Freddie Freeman. Yeah, but I don't know how did they shuffle the outfield there. That's kind of weird because I'm looking at the scorecard that I wrote down. Somebody must have went somewhere else there at some point. In the doesn't really matter. We're just using the batting anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much, does it? All right, so top of the fifth now. National League. In our replay, it's going to be Harper, Contreras, and Christian Yelich. And Freeman will come in the next time Yelich bats, okay? So here we go. All right, so Bryce Harper, 4, 5, and 6 for the National League, already leading 5-0 in the top of the fifth. A 23-year-old pitching for the American League now. I'm going to leave Mason Miller in there, all right? He's pitched pretty well, at various points, so we're going to leave him in there. He's a K-plus guy, so we'll leave him. And the K-plus, what does that mean? That means -1 on the batter total. So, okay, his batting average. So we'll keep that in mind with Mason Miller. All right, again, so Harper has rolled a 23. Miller's using a D12 die, and he has a 12. That is a 35. That, I think, is an on-board walk for Harper, if I've got it right. Yeah, 29-37. Harper is a board with a walk here in the top of the... Yeah, it wouldn't matter because even though it removes 1 from his hit total, he's aboard with a walk. All right, Harper aboard. Now William Contreras from the Brewers. Top of the fifth, 5-0 National League. It's a 54, so that we know is an out. 54 and 9, 63. Where's my chart? What did I do with it? I just had it. Wah. All right. 54 and 9 is a 63. That gives him a grounder to the first baseman. So we'll go 3 unassisted with a 1 out. That moves up Bryce Harper to second. Christian Yelich now, the number 6 hitter for the National League. Substitutes not made yet. They will be shortly in the starting lineup for the National League. He's rolled a 16. The pitcher, Miller, a 2. That's an 18. That means Yelich is batting. But we also bring back 1 for his, so it's actually a 70. Don't matter. It's a hit. And now we go ahead and roll a D20 for our determiner of what happened in this at-bat. Ooh, it's an 18. That is smokerinoed. Double, a runner's advance 3, so we know Harper's going to score, and there is no defensive answer there. So, Harper has scored. Yelich has doubled. He is 2 for 3 and has scored, and it is now 6-0 National League. Somebody's going, hey, you going to leave Mason Miller in there? Yeah, there's 1 out. I'll leave him in. That's one of the things, the stats don't really take into account a whole lot of fatigue. I haven't. One of the things I haven't been playing is I see there's a pitcher fatigue rule here that relievers drop a pitch level, and I'm going to assume that means, okay, starters drop. Well, we're going to actually have them as relievers, right? Because they're all relieving one another for every run allowed, or if they pitch more than 1 inning. So, but technically, he hasn't pitched 1 inning, right? So, I'm not going to worry too much about that at the moment. So maybe I missed some of the stuff with the pitcher fatigue, but that's all right. Miller's going to keep going. Again, there's many idiosyncrasies with the game. You have to read up on it, and if I miss some stuff today, so I miss it. That's the way it goes. All right. Now, getting back caught up after the Yelich double. He is aboard with 1 away, and it's Alec Bohm, the third baseman. So Bohm is a 41, so that's going to be an out because that's going to be well beyond any on-base percentage that he had. And with Miller pitching, that adds a 9. That's 41 and 9 is 50. So he is struck out. According to the out table, that's 2 down. He is 1 for 3 after that. 1 for 2 with a homer is Teoscar Hernandez, though. And, he deserves to keep hitting, doesn't he? So we'll see what happens with Hernandez here. He's the number 8 hitter. 6-0 now, National League. That is a 67 that he has rolled, so that's going to be an out. Miller adds 269. That means it is a fly out to right field for the third out of the inning. But once again, the National League gets another run on 2 hits and 1 left. After 5.5, National League leads at 6-0. Yes, I said 6-0. Who would have thought that? I don't know. I sure wouldn't have. Okay. So I get the stats to show up there for you a little bit. Swing over to him, and I'll take a little bit of a momentary break. Be back in a moment. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the fifth with the AL trying to answer, huh? 6-0. In the Deadball, W.M. Akers replay that's his game called Deadball. You can buy the second edition right now fairly cheap on his website. It's in my link in the description of the video below. But we're in the bottom of the fifth now, and the National League leads the American League 6-0. I'm going to look here and see what the substitutes were in the fifth. And I don't remember if the American League started doing that in the fifth or the sixth. Let's look here. Bottom of the fifth. Yes, they did. Yes, they sure did. Okay. So Riley Green, it's going to be here in the, is that right? Fifth? Yeah. In the fifth. Seager, who will hit in the sixth. And Anthony Santander. So that's what you got. You've got Riley Green, Corey Seager, Anthony Santander, 1, 2, 3 for the American League here in the bottom of the fifth. The substitutes beginning for the American League. Now let me take a look here at who's pitching for the National League. National League pitcher in the fifth, Hunter Green, and he got rocked, if you remember. We'll talk about that when we go over the actual fifth a little bit later. So, again, it is facing Hunter Green. It is Riley Green, Corey Seager, Anthony Santander. So let's go ahead and bring up some die roll, baby. All right, Riley Green, what can you do with the stick? Just a quick reminder of Riley Green. I have to look some of these players up because sometimes I forget all of these guys, but who they're playing with and who they were with. Riley Green, outfielder, playing for the Tigers. So pinch hits for Stephen Kwan here in the fifth for the American League, down 6-0. All right. So he has rolled a 60, which means he's out. Your pitcher, Hunter Green, would like to get out of this inning as opposed to the last time he pitched in the actual All-Star game. That's a 9, so 69. The out would be a fly out to right field. Oh, wait a minute here. Wow, I've got things all screwed up. This is my error. I screwed up on the looking at the lineup here. Those players did come in the fifth, but since they have not batted as much, they're not going to come in until later, till they have a chance to bat. It's actually Guerrero, Rutschman, and Semien. How I didn't see that on the scorecard is beyond me. That's weird. All right, so it's Guerrero, Rutschman, and Semien, and that is 7, 8, 9. So we'll go ahead and Guerrero, 58, and then Hunter Green, 11, so that's a 69. Again, that's an F9, and that's 1 away here in the bottom of the fifth. Adley Rutschman now, catcher for the Orioles. 72, he's out. 4-6, 76. That means it's a grounder to short. 2 away. And now Marcus Semien struck out his first time. A little more productive game in the actual one. He's got a 53, so we know he's out. Hunter Green adds 5, 58. That is a fly out to center. 1, 2, 3 in the fifth for the National League. In the sixth, that's when we will see those substitutes of Green, Seager, and Santander. Santander, rather. Well, that scorecard's getting to be a mess now that I screwed up, but that's okay. And so after 5 innings, 6-0 National League, the replay of the 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Let me give you a shot at the stats here, okay? Just a moment from that last at bat. Back in a sec. So let's talk about that 5th inning there, that what actually happened in the actual game. It was the Jaron Duran show, right? If you remember, he hit the 2-run homer for the AL and gave them the lead, and that held up 5-3 for the final. So we'll go to the top of the 5th here and take a look. There were many substitutions made there in the 5th by the American League. Naylor, Miller, Westberg, Paredes, Seager, Green, Duran, and Santander all played out in the field. Doesn't really matter in this game since the fielders are kind of irrelevant. They can be if you use the stat of defensive plus, but there really weren't, as far as their stats using, it really doesn't make much of a difference. So in this case, not used. So in the top of the 5th, let's see here. Ketel Marte flew out to left. Ohtani struck out, and so did Trey Turner. Mason Miller did look pretty impressive. I remember that from the All-Star Game. Bottom of the 5th, this is where the homer comes. Hunter Green. This is the thing, he gave 2 outs, right? 2 fly balls to Riley Green and Corey Seager, so he thinks he's probably cruising along, right? Then Anthony Santander hits the single to right. And then Jaron Duran, the 2-run homer to right field that gave the American League the 5-3 lead. And then David Fry flew out to short. That's the way the 5th inning broke out in the actual All-Star Game. So we're going to the 6th now. And in the 6th for the National League, I've got to look. I'm not sure where their substitutes began to appear, but I believe it was the 6th for the NL. Yes, indeed. We're going to see Will Smith and Freddie Freeman here in the 6th batting. But actually they will not, because they are not, I don't have them. The National Leagues went around enough in the lineup. That's not where it's going to play out. So it's Profar that is in left field. He will bat first. Marte. Let's see. When did McMahon come in? Let me take a look here. McMahon came in the bottom of the 6th, so we'll give him an at-bat here since Marte's already had 3. We'll give McMahon an at-bat here in the 6th. And let's see. I would say we can substitute for Ozuna as well as the DH for Ohtani at this point too. So we'll put him in the 6th as well. So it's Profar. And what did I say? Reynolds. Reynolds came in the 6th. And let's take a look here. Hold on. Wow, the print of this is so small. Yeah, I don't have. I'm going to put Reynolds in later. We'll let Profar bat again here in the 6th. So it's going to be Jurickson and Profar. So it's Profar, McMahon hitting for Marte, and Ozuna hitting for Ohtani. 9-1-2 for the National League here in the top of the 6th, leading 6-0. It's a 95 for McMahon. And pitching now for the American League is Cole Reagans. We're using a D8 here. It's a 1. So 96, that's an out. A 6 would make it a ground out to short. It's Jurickson and Profar. Grounds to short to lead off the 6th. Now, I said, yeah, Jurickson and Profar. Now it's McMahon. So that was the leadoff hitter, the 9-hitter, Jurickson and Profar. McMahon here with 1 out in the top of the 6th. NL leading the AL 6-0. Let's talk a little bit about Ryan McMahon here. If I can find the stats. Where are they? Second baseman from the Rockies. He played third and first, too, but he played second in the All-Star game. So he's now batting. Well, 57. He's going to be out. But how much is he going to be out by? 9. He's going to fly out to right field, 2 down. So now Marcell Ozuna, he of the chicken wing arm when he was playing with the Cardinals. And now he's a masher as a DH, which is probably what he was always meant to be, I kind of gather. So Marcell Ozuna now pinch hitting for Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani was 0 for 2. 74, that's going to be an out. It's above the batting average in the on base. It's a 5. That's a ground out third. Ground out third. 1, 2, 3. Go the National League in the top of the 6th. Good job pitching there by Cole Reagans. I don't know. I may send him back out there. We'll see. So at the end of 5.5, there is a score of 6-0 National League over the American League in the replay of the All-Star Game 2024 edition. There's your score sheet, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the 6th here. And the American League, this is where the substitutes came in. So now it's going to be Riley Green is going to bat for Stephen Kwan, Corey Seager for Gunnar Henderson, and Anthony Santander will bat for Juan Soto here in the 6th. The American League trails 6-0 at home at Globe Life Field. Yeah, that's kind of almost unbelievable, isn't it? Okay. Again, 1, 2, 3 with all the substitute hitters now for the American League. I don't mean to call them substitutes, but, pinch hitters. Riley Green, the left fielder for the Detroit Tigers. So let's see what he can do. We can get this thing started for the AL. Because, man, it has not been going well. They don't have a thing on the board as we go to the 6th. Well, that is a 16, so that means he's going to get a hit. Now, who's pitching for the National League here in the 6th? It is Christopher Sanchez, D8. We're using an 8 die, so that adds a 6. That's a 22. That's going to be below Green's batting average, which is good. 26. He's like a 260 hitter. So he's going to get a hit. So first time we're using the D20 in a while. And what do we get? A 10. And that is a single. So American League, Riley Green pinch hits. Leads off with a single. That off of Christopher Sanchez. So Corey Seager now. The second hitter as he is batting for Gunnar Henderson here in the 6th inning. The Texas Ranger, longtime Los Angeles Dodger. Let's see what Seager can do. Well, 41, it's going to be an out. And an 8th, it's a 49. That's a fly out to right field. One away. Anthony Santander. A little bit different in the All-Star game. The actual game, he kind of led to some runs. Helped the American League there. So here he bats in the 6th. I think I've got that right. I have to go back and look. All right, so Santander. Well, it's a 91, and then we throw the Sanchez is pitching a 293. So the 3 is the out table, and that is a ground ball to first. 2 outs, runner moves up, which is Riley Green from first to second. So the leadoff hit in danger of being stranded. But here you go. In the 6th, the guy that hit the 2-run homer to win it for the AL. He's pinch hitting for Aaron Judge, by the way, the number 4 hitter, Jarren Duran. All right, Jarren, what can you say? 33, that's probably not going to get it done there, Chief. In 7, that's a 40. That is an out, and that is a strikeout. Out number 3. The AL not doing so well. What do they have here? They only have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Do I have them only for 2 hits? 3 hits. 3 hits for the AL through 6. And it's 6-0 National League over the American League. The 2024 All-Star Game replayed with RPG Dice and WM Akers' Deadball. Going to be back in just a moment, okay? Put some stats up there for you. The batting for the last inning. All right? Back in a second, or a flash, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So we'll go to the 7th with the National League leading 6-0. Now we'll talk about what actually happened in the actual game, I should say. We'll go to the 6th. Bryce Harper was hitting, and by the way, we will. Bryce Harper was hitting. He flew out to center, and Will Smith pinch hitting for William Contreras. Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers. He singled. It says single to shortstop, so it must have been an infield hit. I don't remember now. And then Freddie Freeman. What is going on here? They only have 2 outs listed. Oh, double play. Yeah. So Will Smith hit the single. Then Freddie Freeman hit into a double play, which was first to short to first. So there you have it. And that's where the top of the where am I here? That's where the sixth went for the NL. For the AL, Isaac Paredes was batting, and he grounded out to short. Josh Naylor, now playing first base for the AL, he grounded out to first, and then Salvador Perez came in to catch, and he grounded out, or he struck out swinging. So that was how the actual game broke out. It was 5-3 at the end of 6, American League. So now we will go take a look at some of these substitutes. We go to the 7th for the National League. And I think at this point, this is where I'm going to go ahead and make the substitutes, because Harper batted in the 6th in the other game. We're going to have Elio Ramos bat for him, and Will Smith, C.J. Abrams. We're going to all pinch hit here in the 7th. Okay. So it's 3, 4, and 5, Abrams, Ramos, Will Smith for the National League. Already up 6-0. Let's see what they do. Again, C.J. Abrams now the third hitter in the National League lineup. He's batting for Trey Turner. 27. And our pitcher now for the American League. I think I'm going to leave Reagans out there for the moment. May go to Lugo eventually. So we'll leave Reagans out there. Their dice don't matter, so it doesn't really make any difference. They're the same on the D8 for the dice roll. 27 and force 31. What is Trey Turner, or rather C.J. Abrams? He's a 25. He's a 31. So that makes him, if it's the same as, that's a walk. So yeah, I believe it says under OBP, but I'm going to say that's the same, so we're going to call it a walk for Abrams. I'm not sure if it's under, if that's a hit, or it's right on his OBP, so we're just going to call it a walk. So now it's Helio Ramos. What, from the Astros, right? Do I have that right? I think so. Hang on a second. Not the Astros. What I'm talking about, the National League. The Giants. Yeah, the outfielder. So Elio now bats with 1 out here in the 7th. National League leading 6-0. He's rolled a 32. Our pitcher rolls an 8. That's a 40. That's an out. Our pitcher, as I've said, we're leaving Reagans out there. Seth Lugo's the next pitcher to come in. And Ramos has 40. That is an out, and that is a strikeout, if I remember correctly. It is. 1 away. See, the longer you play the game, you don't even have to look at a table. You already kind of remember what the out table is, which is good. 1 out here in the 6th, or rather the 7th inning, with the National League leading 6-0, and they're batting. Will Smith now the catcher for the Dodgers. He pinch hits for William Contreras. A 21 and a 2 is a 23. I think that's probably a hit. It is. Now we go to the hit chart to see what it is. It's a 1, which leaves it a single. That'll move the runner up 1. The runner would be C.J. Abrams. And now we get to see Freddie Freeman pinch hit here in the 7th. See what he can do. Hitting a double play in the actual game. Yeah, he's going to be out here. He's got a 57. 3 is a 60. He strikes out. Freddie Freeman, no, sir. So they leave 2 single there. What, the third hit only for the – or no, I'm sorry. I'm talking on the National League side. They leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 7th. National League leading 6-0. I'll give you a little scorecard look here in just a moment. And I'll be right back. Bottom of the 7th we go. The American League better get on their horse. They're down 6-0 to the Nationals. So let's see. We're going to do some substituting here. Isaac Paredes was going to bat for Jose Ramirez, and so will Josh Naylor bat for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And Salvador Perez will come in as well. But I'll put his if he ends up hitting. So David Fry... I'll actually go with Will Castro here as well to get everybody a chance. So it's going to be Will Castro, Isaac Paredes, Josh Naylor, which would be 5, 6, 7 in the American League lineup here, down 6-0. You got a comeback in you, fellas? I don't know. Let's find out. Well, not with that. Castro, who is hitting off of, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Reynaldo Lopez. He's a D20, so that means he's got an excellent ERA, 5.96 and 5.101. That's a strikeout. Sit down. Sit down, Will Castro. First out in the bottom of the 7th for the American League. And now pinch hitting, Isaac Paredes, as I said, for Jose Ramirez. Paredes, third baseman, first baseman, second baseman for Tampa Bay. Okay, Isaac, what do you got? 45 ain't going to cut it, brother. That's an out. And 4 from the pitcher is a 49, and that is a fly out to right field. So now Josh Naylor from the Cleveland Guardians. Well, he's got a 28, but I don't think that's going to be good enough against Reynaldo Lopez. All right, let's see. Now, 28-17 is a 45. That, sir, is an out, and the 5 is a 5-3. 1, 2, 3 go the American League in the in the 7th inning. Pitching has been superb for the National League. No runs allowed. We go to the 8th. It is the National League 6, the American League nothing in the 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the replay via Deadball and RPG Dice. Okay. Well, I'll give you the try to give you the score sheet here, and I'll be back in a second. Righto, righto. There we go. So let's go over what happened in the seventh in the actual game. In the top of the seventh, Seth Lugo pitched for the American League. Ellie De La Cruz singled. And after that, Jackson Merrill lined out to left. Brian Reynolds singled. Ryan McMahon struck out. And De La Cruz was at second, by the way. And then Marcelo Zuna grounded out to short to end the top of the seventh in the National League. In the American League, let's see here. Gosh, it cut off some of this stuff, I think. Yeah, for whatever reason, the bottom of the pages did not get printed quite right. I don't know why that was. I didn't bother to look. I just assumed they were correct. All I know is nothing happened in the seventh. The last 2 outs, Riley Green off of Robert Sanchez struck out, and so didn't Bobby Witt Jr. And those are two pretty good hitters to strike out. Robert Sanchez, quite a pitcher for the yeah, let's see here. Did I not have him listed here? Well, I thought I did. Hold on. Maybe I missed a pitcher somewhere. Gosh. That is the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. So we're going to the 8th. No, Suarez. I said, what am I talking about here? Yeah, Suarez. And then eventually Strom came in. That's right. They did that pitching deal where they pitched a few different pitchers in the inning, the American League did, to get more pitchers in. So that's all right. We'll do that here in the 8th inning. National League now comes to the plate. They're leading 6-0. It is going to be Ellie De La Cruz. Will bat here in the 8th, along with Jackson Merrill and along with Brian Reynolds. So that'll go 7, 8, 9. Ellie De La Cruz now to hit for the National League. Leading 6-0, top of the 8th. And he is going to be out of 46. The pitcher, we said, is wait a minute. How did I get? Yeah, I got that right. We're going to have Lugo on the mound for a couple. Actually, we're just going to have Lugo and Kirby Yates pitch here in this inning. So we'll have Lugo pitch this batter to De La Cruz. And he is a D8. That adds 8, 46, 8, 54. That is a ground out to first for De La Cruz. One away. Now Jackson Merrill for the National League. Pinch hitting for Teoscar Hernandez. I'm reading up here on Jackson Merrill. Center fielder for the Padres. Okay. So here's his at bat here in the 8th. Pinch hitting for Hernandez, who Homer Teoscar did in his first at bat in the second. 49, and we'll just leave our pitcher in there, which is Lugo, and then we'll bring him out after this. And that is 5. That's 54. And the 4 is, again, a ground out to second. 2 down. Now Brian Reynolds, rather. Pinch hitting here in the 8th for the National League. The left fielder from the Pirates. Okay. Let's see what he can do. National League leading 6-0 here in the top of the 8th, 2 outs. A 38, and then the pitcher, which is now a D20, so that's Kirby Yates. American League, yeah, it's a 2, so that is an out. 40, and that will be a strikeout of Brian Reynolds. 1, 2, 3 go the National League in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And the National League leads the American League 6-0. Here you go. Let me put it up for you. And I'll be back in just a moment. Again, this is a replay of the 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and we're using the statistics from, using the Dice Baseball game from W.M. Akers called Deadball. You can get his second edition online. I have a link to it and his website in the description below of this video. Note the game is taken here, going to take about 2 hours. Of course, a lot of the things we're doing here is taking that long. In reality, it's probably takes about 30 minutes to play, especially when you get quicker at looking at the tables and exactly how to play the game. And it can be made more complex or as simple as you want it to be. So, all right, so now we're going to as I said, the bottom of the 8th. We're going to see substitutes. And Salvador Perez will bat in the 8th position. Jordan Westberg will bat in the 9th position. And let's see, Riley Green is already in there, so we'll let him stay. So it's going to be 8-9-1, Perez, Westberg, and Green. They need 6 runs. Kind of thinking that's not going to happen. So, all right. Let's go here and let's see what happens. For Salvador Perez, the Kansas City Royal catcher. Well, maybe. Let's see. He's got a 13. And let's see. Our pitcher now, though, for the National League is going to be Matt Strom. Okay? And he's a D20. So let's see what happens there. 6, that's a 19. That is going to be a hit, I believe, for Salvador Perez. Yeah, 27. So let's see what Salvador Perez can do hitting the baseball. He has a single. All right, Salvador Perez trying to start it up for the American League, aboard with a single. Bottom of the 8th, 6-0 NL. Now Jordan Westberg pinch hitting for Marcus Semien. Playing second base. He's the second and third baseman, plays for the Orioles. Okay, so what do you got, Jordan, in your bag? Let's see what happens. Well, a 42, that's going to be an out, especially facing That will be an out, and facing Matt Strom here. 42-14 is a 56. That will be a ground out to short. One away, but the runner moves up, and that's Salvador Perez. Now, what's not clear is in this game is double plays or anything like that. And you would say a ground ball to short with a guy like Salvador Perez, that should be a double play. I'm going to play it more straight by the book with these stats. I'm not familiar enough with this dead ball game to know whether or not that should have been a double play there. I mean, under normal circumstances, look, man, somebody hits a ground ball to short and Salvador Perez is at first. Yeah, it's going to be a double play, isn't it? So we'll just make it so that it was a tough play and he's able to get to second base, and that's where he is with one out. Now Riley Green from the Detroit Tigers will bat. And Riley, well, he's going to be out. He's a 73. Matt Strom adds 16. That's 89. That's a flyout to right field. That's out number 2. And now we will see Bobby Witt Jr. pinch hitting here in the 8th. From the Royals. Right? I get that right, don't I? I better double check that. 6-0 National League. Bottom of the 8th. Hard to believe. 5-3 AL won over the NL in the actual game. Yep, the shortstop and third baseman for the Royals. See what Bobby Witt Jr. can do for KC in the NL. He needs a lot, but he's not going to get it. A 62, and off of Matt Strom adding 971, he is going to strike out. Out number 3. What a rough game for the American League. They don't have anything on the board. Meanwhile, the National League leads at the end of 8, the American League 6-0 in the 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the replay with dice baseball and with dice played with W.M. Akers' dead ball rules. We'll be back here in just a moment. I'll give you your stats so you can see them, okay, from this 8th inning, which wasn't much. Not at all. Back in a second. So, okay, we'll go over what happened in the 8th in the actual game. Wasn't much. C.J. Abrams struck out against Kirby Yates. Emilio Ramos struck out, and Will Smith struck out also against. No, he grounded out to third in the top of the 8th. In the bottom of the 8th, Anthony Santander. Let's see here. He, off of Tanner Scott, he flew out to right field. Jared Duran grounded out to second, and Will Castro, facing Jeff Hoffman, grounded out to, is that first base or no, third to first. It's grounded to third. So that's where we go. That's where we went with that. So now, here we go. The 9th inning for the National League, and a 6-0 lead. So we have McMahon, Ozuna, and Abrams hitting for the NL. Okay? And let's go ahead and take a look at the roll some dice here. So Ryan McMahon for the National League. Second base came in to spell Ketel Marte. Ketel, heard it both ways. McMahon, the plays for the Rockies. McMahon flew out to, let's see, when did he come in? Yeah, he flew out in the 6th to right field. All right, let's see what Ryan McMahon can do here. He's the leadoff hitter in the lineup now for the National League. It's a 19. He's hitting against, we're going to have Emmanuel Clase out there. We might as well, right? Have the ace. Oh, wow. He only rolled a 1, so that's a 20. That's going to be below McMahon's hitting average, so that means he's gotten a hit. Now, the question is, what did he get? And the thing is about the dice roll with Deadball that it's kind of too much random in that I think power hitters should have more chances to hit home runs than the, if it gets to a hit roll, than none, right? And so, I mean, that's kind of my thought with that, but okay. Okay, we got to roll a D20 here. And, wow. Unbelievable. It is a 19 again. A 19 and 20 on the hit table. Home run. Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies blasts one off Emmanuel Clase. What, you get a fastball up in the old wheelhouse, did you? Emmanuel, rather. Wow, okay. And the National League leads 7-0. The American League's going, somebody turn out the lights. We don't have to keep playing this thing. Wow, Marcell Ozuna now. How many solo homers has that been? 3? Yes, that's 3. Good gravy. All right, no, I'm not manipulating this. I'm doing random dice rolls with a program from tacticaltokens.com called a dice roller. So there. So, no, I'm not manipulating anything here. So now it's Marcell Ozuna, the second hitter in the lineup. He replaced Shohei Ohtani in the 6th, grounded to third. So, here we go. Well, good gravy. Marcell Ozuna's got a 17. And let's see what the ace Clase has to say about that. It's a 12. That's a 29. That is actually a hit because it's below the batting average, which he hit over 300 last year, did Ozuna. So we go to the hit chart. We roll a D20 first. It's a 4. That is a single, but we have to check the defense in this case. So we roll a D12 to check the defense. It is a 9, and that is a no change, so it is a single for Marcell Ozuna. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I tell you what, if we have a problem with Clase, didn't I pitch Yates already? Yeah, all right. Well, we'll figure out some other pitcher if this thing gets way out of hand. All right, C.J. Abrams now. And what is it about the stats if they give up relievers drop a pitch die level for every run allowed? So, wow. So that means he goes down to a D12 already. So, okay. That's fine. It makes it tougher on him. C.J. Abrams now hits as he's pinch hit in the 6th for Trey Turner. And shortstop from the Washington Nationals. All right, CJ, going to try to get your team going? Get some more runs for National League? Wow, unbelievable. 7-0 they lead here in the top of the ninth. It's a 15, and we know that Clase A's dropped from a D20 to D12 after giving up the homer. That's a 4. That's a 19. That is a hit because Abrams is a 25 on his hit chart. So now we roll a D20, a 16. Oh, my goodness. A double. They are beating Clase A's head in at the moment. What is going on? The double, but we have to check the defense. So there could be something that stops that. Let's see. A 3, that doesn't change anything. A double, and, yeah. Double to center field. Wow, okay. That will score 1. That scores Ozuna. It is 8-0 National League. The American League pitching has failed them tonight. Elio Ramos now, who pinch hit in the 7th for Bryce Harper. A 17, and he's given up another run, so that goes back down to a D8. So to the dice we go, and a 2, it's a 19, that's a hit because Ramos is a 27. Wow, this thing is just getting way out of hand. All right, hold on a minute. It's a hit. It's a 9, it's a single. Ramos singles, that moves. Wow. Yeah, that moves Harper to, or that moves, Ramos gets the single. Abrams moves to 3rd, and there's nobody out here in the 9th. Will Smith to hit. It's already, how do I got the score here? 6, 7, 8. It's already 8-0 National League here in the top of the 9th. They are battering Emmanuel Clase. So here is Will Smith. Hell, he's out. He's throwing a 72. And the D8, since he's come down from a D20 to D8, giving up 2 runs, is a 1. That's a 73. That is going to be a ground out to first. But since that's the case, the runner will move up to second. We'll say the runner at 3rd stayed, okay? So that's the first out of the inning. Wow, I made that a mess in the scorecard. Hold on. Okay, so, but the runner moves up from 1st to 2nd, which was Ramos. So Ramos and Abrams 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And we now have Pete Alonso batting for Freddie Freeman here in the 9th. Okay. Pete Alonso. All right, what are you going to do, Pete? Well, 39, so he's going to be out. 41. So that is a strikeout. It is. 2 down. Emmanuel Clase. Come on. Please get me out of this. But he's got Ellie De La Cruz to deal with. All righty. 8-0 NL. 57 for De La Cruz, so that's going to be an out. We had 1, it's an 8, it's a fly out to center field. Wow, what a horrid inning for Emmanuel Clase. He gives up 2 runs, including a home run, and 4 hits, and 2 left. Wow. National League on top, 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. This 9th better be a quick one, man. I don't want to be here till midnight with this. I seriously don't. Wow, okay. Yeah, let me get your stats up here for you. All right. And I'll go back to them here real quick. You can see the at-bats. There you go. That's what happened in the 8th. Or the 9th, rather. I'm sorry. Sorry, top of the 9th. My bad. Bottom of the 9th we go. Can the AL get some runs? We'll find out. Hang in there. Back in a second. Well, you got 8 runs in your pocket, American League? Of course, it is the American League. Why wouldn't they? They could possibly do it. It is Santander, Duran, and Will Castro for the American League. That would be 3, 4, and 5. So let's see what they can do. They can get at least a run on the board. You'd like to see them do that, wouldn't you, if you're an AL fan? All righty. Here's Santander. 42, that's not going to be good enough, especially when he's facing Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman's a D12, though, so that's a 42 plus 4 is 46. That means a ground out to short. 6-3 for Santander in the 9th, and an 8-0 lead with 1 out in the 9th for the National League. Jarren Duran not had quite the game that he had in the actual All-Star game. 78, that's going to be an out. The question just is how much of an out. It's a 9. He's flown out to right field. We are 2 outs in the 9th. Will Castro, the last chance for the American League. Doesn't have an 8-run homer in his pocket, does he? He's going to be out. 56. Question is just where? 56 and 7, 63. He is grounded to first base, and that is the ball game. And this marker pen has about had it. So the final score, I'll show that to you here real quick. The National League 8, the American League nothing. The replay of the 2024 All-Star Game. That is almost unbelievable. I don't really think that typically or that would have happened. But anyway, I'll leave those stats up there for a minute if you just wanted to look at them. My score sheet is not the best. It's hard to see. I need to get different cameras. I'm going to do something like this for a regular basis. This was mostly a test case scenario to test some new equipment. Things worked pretty well this evening, and I'm happy with that. But anyway, so we go back to and I'll look here at the 9th inning for what happened. And the top of the 9th against Clase, Pete Alonso struck out. Ellie De La Cruz grounded to second. Jackson Merrill singled. It says singled to Peace. It must have got through. I don't remember that. Must have barely got through, and then Brian Reynolds struck out. And that was to preserve the 5-3 win for the AL. But this time, the National League all over the American League. Final score being 8-0. We'll go over the scoring a little bit here. Was led off, so I feel like I'm reading a children's book. Today, Ketel Marte hit the homer to lead off the game for the National League in the first, 1-0. In the second, Jackson Merrill added to that, 2-0 with his own solo, Teoscar Hernandez hit the solo homer, made it 2-0. The big inning for the National League was the fourth. Christian Yelich singled. Then Alec Boehm singled. And then after that, Jurickson Profar doubled, which scored 2. Moments later, Ketel Marte singled and scored Reynolds. That made it 5-0. Elio Ramos, let's see. He singled in the 5th. I think I said that was the 4th inning, what I just mentioned to you. In the 5th inning, Elio Ramos singled. He was eventually gotten home by Christian Yelich's double, and that made it 5-0. Or I should say that made it 6-0. My bad. And then in the 8th, or the 9th inning rather, the American League's closer, Class A, just fell apart. Ryan McMahon homered to lead off. Then Marcell Ozuna singled. Then C.J. Abrams doubled. Then Elio Ramos singled. At that point, they've added 2 more runs, which is 8-0, and that's where we ended up with the final. The American League just didn't do a thing with the bats. What do I got here? Let's see. I'm trying to see how many hits they had. There weren't very many. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. If I've got that right, it looks like 4 hits for the final score of National League 8, American League nothing. This replay featuring Deadball from W.M. Akers. I'll show you the books again here real quick before I wind up this stream. There's his Deadball 1909. Deadball year 2. I've got some of the other books somewhere in the house. I just don't know where they are. And Deadball year 3. He has one out now that's the Deadball 2nd edition. You can download it. I think it's like $5, something like that. You can buy the hardbound versions too, I believe, still. It's everybody's view, whatever you want to do, right? Again, they use RPG dice, but you can use a dice roller online. Would have been easier if I had real dice tonight. Yeah, probably. I see that it took about 2.5 hours to play this. With all the stuff I was doing tonight and going back and looking at the original game, I think you could get this down to a half hour really to play it. Maybe 45 minutes when you're a novice, and you could get this pretty well. But give W.M. Akers a shout out. Check out his page as it is linked in the description, and you can order or you can buy the PDFs and start playing right now from that link that I mentioned. And you can also look at all the other extraneous stuff he has available as well. So that's it. That's the final score. The 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star Game replayed via stats to kind of celebrate the beginning of the Major League Baseball season, which starts as officially, I know it already started with a couple of games in Japan, but it starts officially on Thursday. That's right, Thursday, March 27th. Once again, I'm your Uncle Phil, Furious Rally Sports. Hang in there. Going to have some high school ball games this spring. When I have that schedule up, I will let you know. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your life, for that matter. Bye for now.